I don't want to say it's every religion, but like, isn't the same thing happen kind of with Mormonism, where you got, who's the main guy?
Joseph Smith.
Joseph goes, hey, we got to do this, and then he even dies before they get to Salt Lake City. But the next guy,
That's right,
takes it.
By the way,
Scientology isn't it?
Do you know who the first ever U.S. presidential candidate to be assassinated while running for office was?
While running for office?
While running for office, it was Joseph Smith, founder of the Mormon religion.
Wow.
He was running for president at the time.
While he was traveling out to Salt Lake City.
That's right. So they were sort of positive.
Mormons might be onto something, man. We gotta look into it.
Mormonism is.
I don't want to get us distracted.
No, it's absolutely fascinating, man, because like it's such a wacky story, like the history of, and because it's relatively recent, it's like 1800s. Like there's more records. Like we know certain things happened. So we know that Joseph Smith claims to receive these golden plates. He's told by the angel Moroni, go and dig up these golden plates. The golden plates exist because in ancient Israel, just before the Babylonian captivity, some Jews, some Israelites were warned, and so they fled and they built boats and they sailed to America,
Jersey,
and they had entire civilizations. The Garden of Eden was in Jackson County, Missouri.
Of course.
They have an entire civilization. There are like, I'm talking like Lord of the Rings, like battles and wars and societies and all this kind of stuff. And then the very last person, the very last Nephite, I think, I might be getting some of this wrong. I think this is actually the son of Mormon, but Mormon's the one who like puts it all together. So sort of writes down the record of his people on these golden plates and buries them. Because he's the last of his kind. And then Joseph Smith is in upstate New York, and God says to him, hey man, like, go and find these plates. So Joseph Smith has these plates, and they're written in something which is called Reformed hieroglyphics. So they look a bit like Egyptian hieroglyphics. And Joseph Smith can miraculously translate them. And the way that he does it is not by looking at the plates. Puts the plates aside. He takes his hat. He takes a special kind of stone called a seer stone. He puts the seer stone in the hat. He puts his head into the hat. And the stone starts glowing and translating what's on the golden plates. And he starts dictating. He starts saying it out loud.
Got it.
Someone starts writing it down.
Fire.
And he's the only one who can see it.
He's the only one that can see the translation.
He's the only one who can see it glowing.
Yeah, because he's got his head in the hat, right?
Yeah.
And you can see that they have
never showed anyone the golden plates.
There are something like 11, maybe 13 witnesses to the golden plates.
Oh, there are.
Actually, if you read the Book of Mormon, it opens with the testimony of the 13 witnesses to the golden plates. Apart from that, nobody saw them. But the funny thing is, it sounds really wacky, but what I love about what Mormons can do is they go to Christians, and Christians are like, this is the most ridiculous false prophet nonsense, whatever. And they're like, oh really? So how many eyewitness testimony written accounts do you have to the resurrection? Oh, you've got none. You've just got a few second-hand accounts. Oh, because we've got 13 eyewitness signed, like affidavit, like written down testimonies of people who were still alive and were questioned by like the press about it.
Yeah.
And like even one of the guys who swore that he saw the golden plates later falls out with Joseph Smith, is kicked out of the Mormon church.
But he's still
or leaves,
like, I saw that
but
plate.
he still says he saw the plates.
I love it.
Now, there's some debate about this because one of them sort of says, well, he saw them with his spiritual eyes, which kind of means it might have been a vision.
Yeah.
But then he's asked about that, and he says, look, gentlemen, look at your hands. As truly as you see your hands, I saw those plates, right? So there's all of this going on, right? So Joseph Smith then like founds this religion off the basis of it. And they don't like being called Mormons, because Mormon is the name of one of their I guess he's a prophet, but he's like the guy that collates the Book of Mormon. They are members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day
Islamists or something.
Or like calling them a Mohammedan probably is more similar, which is what they used to call Muslims because they sort of misunderstood what they were all about. But they sort of flip and flop about whether it's okay to call them Mormons, because it's a bit clunky to say member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, or Latter-day Saint, right? But so Joseph Smith, they're setting up communities, and they're trying to find somewhere to like set up their community. So they're traveling around the United States, and when they get to Missouri, they cause such a problem in Missouri that there is something called, I think it's called the Missouri Executive Order 45 or something, otherwise known as like the Mormon Extermination Order, which is where the governor of Missouri, based on some like inflated reports about what the Mormons were doing, gets so like worried and paranoid about them that he issues an order to exterminate Mormons, to drive them out of the land by force, which basically means that you could just like kill Mormons. You just like go Mormon hunting because he wanted them gone. They were causing such a problem. Like in the United States, there was a law passed, an executive order, that said we're just going to kill Mormons and drive them out of our land.
Kill white people.
I know.
Which is like,
Yeah, that's not shocking for me.
that's
light work.
it's just like,
The worst thing America did, you could say.
like 1800s. It's crazy,
I
man.
agree,
You wouldn't believe. It's just wild.
Don't take us too far away from Jesus. I want to.
Oh, sure, okay, but yeah, we can definitely get back to Jesus. But Joseph Smith eventually, so part of when he decides to run for president, part of his running campaign is that he wants to annex Texas because he wants to make Texas like the land for the Mormon people. So that's part of his thing, and eventually, so Mormons are into like polygamy.
Yeah.
They were. Now, if you're a polygamist, you can't be a Mormon. Like it's anathema to them. In like the 1980s or something, they finally said it's not right. But they got one of the reasons they got in so much trouble with the U.S. government was because they had multiple wives, and that was seen as totally wrong. And so Joseph Smith is now. I can't remember which state he's in when he actually dies. I think it might be Illinois, but I'm not sure about
Yeah, I
that.
think he dies in Illinois.
He dies in Illinois. I think that's right.
Missouri's like the third spot they end up, correct?
Yeah, they've sort of been all over the place, and
Yeah.
I think Illinois is where he gets killed.
You just Google it.
And yeah, I mean maybe okay, great.
They just kept getting kicked out of places.
Yeah, they keep getting
They're like
kicked
the
out.
Christian Jews.
Yeah, seriously, but this is the thing. So Mormons will say, Mormons will point out that they have a history of like persecution, and people sort of don't know about this. It's quite amazing because I debate Christians quite a lot, and they talk about how amazing it was that Christianity grew from just a small group of people to taking over the Roman Empire. And I'm like, the sociologist Rodney Stark calculated that in the first like 200 or 300 years, I think, after the birth of Christianity, the growth rate that they experienced is exactly the same as the Mormon Church. And then people say, yeah, but they were being persecuted by the Roman Empire. I'm like, have you heard of the Missouri Extermination Order? There's a newspaper in Illinois that criticizes Joseph Smith for his polygamous practices. I think at this point, Joseph Smith is the governor of some kind of province of Illinois. And so he decides to like shut down the newspaper because he doesn't like the criticism. So he like bans it. Then there's like a riot because he's like suppressed this newspaper. Then Joseph Smith institutes martial law because of the riots, and then he flees. And then I think the governor of Illinois says, "Okay, Joseph Smith, you've got to come back. You're going to face trial. We'll keep you fine, but just you got to come back." So Joseph Smith goes back. He gets put in prison, and then this big angry mob descend on the prison, and they break into the prison. They shoot his brother in the face. His brother says, "I'm a dead man," and then he dies. And then Joseph Smith tries to escape out of a window. They shoot him. He falls out of the window onto the floor, and they shoot him dead again. So he dies in what is essentially a prison shootout.
Whoa.
And for the Mormons, this is a site of religious martyrdom. So you can now go to that prison. It's now owned by the Latter-day Saints, and it's a site that they go to as the point of martyrdom for their prophet. There it is. It's the house.
Wow.
So Joseph Smith was killed falling out of that window. There's a
Wow.
there he is. So there's a
That's wild.
big mob show up and kill him. So Joseph Smith becomes like a martyr, and that's that. And then there's your typical religious like succession crisis. Who's going to take over? I think there's a point where like I think it's Brigham Young who's giving a speech saying I should be the leader, and like multiple people report seeing him like transfigure into the likeness of Joseph Smith. There's all kinds of wacky stuff going on, right? And yeah, like it sounds kind of insane, but is that any more insane than some of the Christian stories that we hear?
But it was farther ago.
Yeah, exactly. And so we have this
Yeah,
feeling.
So it's better.
Yeah, of course.
People sort of go like, "Oh, but that's ridiculous," as if God would appear to someone in upstate New York. That's ridiculous. It's like, well, that's how it sounded like God being born in Nazareth.
Yeah.
Like they even
Guy
say
in
in the
Galilee?
gospel, people are saying in the Gospels, like, is this not Joseph's son? Is this not the guy from Nazareth? Does anything good come from Nazareth? They're saying the same thing.
They're talking about it like it's Staten Island.
No, literally.
Yeah, they actually are. Yeah, seriously though, that's what's going on.
If you want to know what is going on, click on the link in the description below.